Comfort is killing your potential. You know it, you feel it. That quiet voice in your head that tells you there's more you could be doing. But you silence it with distractions, comfort, and excuses. Because discomfort feels like pain. But what if I told you that pain is the exact signal you've been avoiding that leads to everything you want? Let's get one thing straight. Success doesn't live in the comfort zone. It never has, and it never will. The people you admire, the ones you look at and think, how did they do that? They didn't get there by staying where it felt easy or safe. They got there by doing the uncomfortable things consistently, long after motivation ran out. And if you're wondering why you're not where you want to be, it's probably because you've built your life around avoiding discomfort instead of leaning into it. You wake up, hit snooze, scroll your phone, tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You chase balance, ease, and self-care as if those are the keys to fulfillment. But let me be real with you. You're not burnt out. You're unfulfilled. There's a big difference. You're tired not because you're doing too much, but because you're doing too little of what actually matters. Comfort numbs you, it dulls your edge, it slowly robs you of your hunger, your drive, your purpose, until you wake up one day realizing you've built a life that's convenient but not meaningful. I used to chase comfort too. I wanted to feel secure, safe, and in control. But security is an illusion. Everything you're trying to protect yourself from failure, rejection, struggle, it's all unavoidable. The question isn't whether you'll experience them. The question is whether you'll face them with courage or avoid them with excuses. Because every time you choose comfort, you're making a silent decision to trade long-term fulfillment for short-term relief. You can't grow where you refuse to be challenged. Think about it. Muscles grow by tearing. Resilience is built by pressure. Strength comes from resistance. Yet when it comes to our lives, we run from anything that feels uncomfortable. We want the reward without the process, the result without the grind, the transformation without the pain. But that's not how it works. You can't skip the hard parts and still expect the outcome. The truth is, comfort is seductive. It makes you believe you're okay. It whispers that you've done enough, that you deserve a break, that you've earned the right to coast. But comfort doesn't care about your goals. Comfort wants you average. Comfort wants you stagnant. Comfort wants you to settle for good enough when great is still on the table. You want to know why some people never reach their potential. It's not because they lack talent. It's not because they didn't have the right opportunities. It's because they got comfortable too early. They stopped pushing when things got good enough, and good enough is where dreams go to die. When you choose comfort, you choose to live a smaller version of yourself. You choose to play it safe, to protect your ego, to avoid risk. But avoiding risk is the biggest risk of all. You risk never knowing what you're truly capable of. You risk dying with your potential still inside you. And that's not living, that's existing. Leila Hormozi once said that growth happens when you choose the harder path on purpose. Because the harder path is where all the lessons are. That's where your character is forged, your mindset is built, and your future is earned. Most people want a big life, but they want to earn it through small actions. They want the $1 million dream with minimum wage effort. But it doesn't work like that. If you want to be exceptional, you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to start seeking discomfort like it's your training ground, because it is. Every challenge, every setback, every moment of fear is an opportunity to expand who you are. And if you can learn to love that process, you'll become unstoppable. Discomfort is where you meet the real you. The part of you that shows up when things get hard, the version of you that doesn't quit when it's inconvenient. That's where confidence is built, not from success, but from surviving the process that created success. You can't fake that, you have to earn it. Stop telling yourself that you'll start when you feel ready. You'll never feel ready. Readiness is a myth. You're not supposed to feel ready. You're supposed to feel scared, uncertain, unqualified, and do it anyway. Because every time you move forward despite fear, you prove to yourself that you can trust yourself. And that's where real confidence comes from. Here's what most people don't understand. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. It's not the discomfort that destroys you, it's avoiding it that does. That's the kind of pain that keeps you up at night wondering what if I had tried harder? What if I hadn't quit? What if I actually gave everything I had? Those questions will haunt you far more than any temporary discomfort ever could. When you stop choosing comfort, you start choosing growth. You start showing up differently. You stop chasing motivation and start building discipline. You stop waiting for the perfect time and start creating it. You stop needing validation and start trusting yourself. That's when your entire identity shifts from someone who avoids challenge to someone who thrives in it. And that's the key identity. Who you believe you are determines how you act. If you see yourself as someone who avoids pain, you'll always run from it. But if you see yourself as someone who grows through pain, you'll chase it. You'll start to crave the struggle because you'll know it's shaping you into someone stronger, sharper, better. You have to stop thinking that discomfort is punishment. It's not, it's feedback. It's your body and mind signaling that you're stepping into new territory, and that's exactly where you're supposed to be. If you're too comfortable, you're not growing. If everything feels easy, you're probably stagnating. Growth should stretch you, it should challenge you, it should make you question whether you're capable, and then show you that you are. Think about it like this: every level of life demands a new version of you, but that new version won't appear in comfort. It's born in challenge. You can't stay who you are and expect to get what you've never had. You have to evolve. And evolution always hurts. It's messy, uncomfortable, uncertain, but that's the price of becoming more. So ask yourself, what's your comfort costing you? What opportunities have you missed because you didn't want to be uncomfortable? What dreams did you talk yourself out of because it felt too risky? What potential are you burying under the illusion of safety? Because if you really want to change your life, you have to get brutally honest with yourself. You have to admit that comfort has become your cage, and you've been decorating it instead of breaking out of it. You've been convincing yourself you're free because the cage looks nice, but freedom isn't comfort. Freedom is control. Freedom is having the discipline and courage to do what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. The people who win in life aren't the ones who have it easiest. They're the ones who have built the capacity to handle discomfort. They've trained their minds to stay calm when things get chaotic. They've made a habit out of doing what others avoid. And that's why they rise. You have that same capacity inside you. It's not a question of potential. It's a question of choice. Every day you're making micro decisions that either strengthen your potential or suffocate it. Every time you choose comfort over challenge, you're reinforcing weakness. Every time you choose discomfort over ease, you're reinforcing strength. It's that simple. If you want to unlock your potential, stop trying to avoid pain. Walk toward it, let it shape you, let it teach you, let it strip away everything that's holding you back. Because the version of you that's waiting on the other side of discomfort, that's the one capable of everything you've ever wanted. Comfort is not your friend, it's the silent killer of ambition, hunger, and purpose. It doesn't destroy you overnight, it erodes you slowly until you forget what it felt like to want more. Don't let that happen. Choose the harder path, because that's where the magic happens. That's where you find out who you really are. And that's where your potential finally comes alive. Discomfort is the gateway to growth. Most people misunderstand this concept because they associate discomfort with pain, and pain with something negative. But the truth is, discomfort is not your enemy, it's your greatest teacher. It's the signal that tells you you're doing something new, something hard, something that stretches you beyond your current limits. Every time you step into discomfort, you're expanding what's possible for you. Growth is not supposed to feel good. It's supposed to feel unfamiliar, uncertain, and sometimes even painful. That's how you know it's working. Think about it. When you go to the gym, you tear your muscles so they can rebuild stronger. You willingly put your body under stress because you know the result is growth. The same principle applies to your mind, your career, your relationships, your entire life. You cannot expect to evolve if you refuse to be uncomfortable. The problem is, we live in a world that glorifies comfort. Everything is designed to make life easier. Faster food, quicker entertainment, instant validation. But the easier life becomes, the weaker we get, because every time you avoid discomfort, you avoid the opportunity to build resilience, discipline, and mental toughness. Discomfort exposes who you are. When things get hard, when the pressure rises, when there's no instant reward, that's when your real character shows up. Anyone can be confident when it's easy. Anyone can be disciplined when it's convenient. But the people who achieve extraordinary results are the ones who keep going when everything in them wants to quit. They understand that growth requires struggle, and they embrace it instead of avoiding it. They lean into discomfort because they know that on the other side of pain is progress. The truth is, most people never reach their potential because they spend their entire lives trying to avoid discomfort. They chase comfort like it's success. They want growth without sacrifice, progress without effort, and mastery without repetition. But that's not how greatness works. Discomfort is the price of entry. You can't become more without leaving behind what's familiar. Every time you choose the hard thing, the workout you don't want to do, the business risk that scares you, the difficult conversation you've been avoiding, you're training yourself to grow. You're rewiring your brain to associate discomfort with progress instead of pain, and once that shift happens, life changes. You stop running from challenges and start seeking them. You start to crave the work because you know that's where transformation lies. Discomfort is not something to fear, it's something to chase. It's the path to confidence, success, and fulfillment. Because every time you conquer discomfort, you expand your limits. You become stronger, sharper, and more capable. Growth doesn't happen by chance, it happens by choice, and every choice to embrace discomfort is a step toward the person you were meant to become. Comfort is the silent killer of ambition. It's sneaky because it doesn't destroy you all at once, it wears you down slowly. It convinces you that you're fine, that you've done enough, that you deserve to rest when you haven't even started. Comfort whispers lies like, you'll do it tomorrow, you've earned a break, or you don't need to push that hard. And before you realize it, you've traded your potential for peace of mind that isn't even real. Comfort doesn't feel dangerous because it feels good. That's what makes it so destructive. When you start settling for good enough, you stop growing, you stop chasing more. You stop demanding excellence from yourself. And the truth is, once you start accepting average, it becomes a habit. You start building an identity around ease instead of effort. The hunger fades, the fire dulls, and the worst part, you don't even notice it happening. Comfort numbs you. It doesn't feel like failure because it feels safe. But safety can be the most expensive thing you ever buy if it costs you your potential. You see, ambition can't survive in comfort. It needs friction, it needs resistance, it needs that uncomfortable edge that pushes you to improve. The people who reach extraordinary levels of success are not necessarily smarter or more talented. They just refuse to settle. They keep pushing even when they could stop. They choose growth over ease, pain over pleasure, discipline over comfort. That's the difference between average and exceptional. Most people mistake comfort for happiness. They think feeling good in the moment means they're doing the right thing. But comfort only feels good temporarily. Eventually, it turns into boredom, regret, and frustration. You'll start to wonder why you're unfulfilled even though everything around you seems fine. It's because deep down, you know you're capable of more, but you're not doing anything about it. And that internal conflict eats away at your confidence and your purpose. Comfort doesn't care about your dreams. It doesn't care about your goals, your vision, or your potential. Comfort only cares about one thing, keeping you exactly where you are. It will give you 1,000 reasons not to take risks, not to put yourself out there, not to try something new. Because the moment you do, you threaten its existence. Comfort wants you stagnant, predictable, and dependent on ease. But the truth is, nothing extraordinary ever comes from a comfortable life. If you want to achieve something great, you have to declare war on comfort. You have to train yourself to do the things that most people avoid. You have to step into uncertainty and stay there long enough to build something real. Because the longer you stay comfortable, the further you drift from who you're meant to be. Ambition dies in comfort and potential dies with it. If you want your fire back, stop feeding it comfort, feed it challenge. Waiting to feel ready is the biggest trap you'll ever fall into. Discipline, not motivation, is what separates the people who talk about success from the people who actually create it. Motivation is emotional. It's inconsistent, unreliable, and fleeting. It shows up when life feels exciting, when progress is visible, when results are near. But discipline shows up when nothing feels easy. It's the muscle that pushes you to keep going long after the excitement fades. Most people fail not because they lack talent, but because they lack consistency. They work hard only when they feel inspired. They chase bursts of energy instead of building systems, but here's the truth: the people you admire don't feel motivated every day either. They just act differently when motivation disappears. They don't wait to feel like doing the work. They do it because they said they would. That's the difference between amateurs and professionals. Amateurs let emotions dictate their actions. Professionals let commitments guide them. Discipline isn't glamorous, it's repetitive, boring, and hard, but it's what creates freedom. When you're disciplined, you no longer rely on temporary feelings, you rely on standards. You don't negotiate with yourself every morning about whether to show up. You just do. You don't need to hype yourself up to follow through. You've trained yourself to follow through regardless. Discipline gives you power over your life, while comfort and emotion keep you powerless. Leila Hormozi often says that real growth happens when you learn to act independently of your feelings. That's how you win long term, because your feelings are unreliable. They fluctuate based on comfort, fatigue, and fear. But your standards, those can be constant. Every time you act from discipline instead of emotion, you prove to yourself that you're trustworthy. You build confidence not from results, but from consistency. And that's the real secret. Confidence isn't born from success. It's born from keeping promises to yourself. Discipline also builds identity. When you start showing up even when you don't feel like it, you become the kind of person who doesn't quit. You stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start viewing them as opportunities to prove your strength. You stop needing motivation because discipline becomes your default state, and when that shift happens, everything changes. You start building momentum. You stop overthinking and start executing. You stop chasing highs and start creating habits. At the end of the day, motivation fades, but discipline compounds. Every small act of discipline adds up. Every time you do the hard thing, you strengthen the part of you that can handle more. That's how confidence grows, how success builds, and how potential unfolds. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. So stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect feeling. The only thing you need is the discipline to start and the grit to keep going when it's no longer easy. Your potential lives beyond fear. Everything you've ever wanted, confidence, success, fulfillment, it all exists on the other side of the things you're scared to face. But most people never reach that side because fear convinces them to stay safe. It whispers that failure will destroy them, that discomfort means danger, that uncertainty means stop. But that voice is lying to you. Fear isn't a wall, it's a doorway. The problem is most people see the door, feel the pressure of stepping through it, and turn back. They mistake fear for a signal to stop, when in reality, it's a sign that they're exactly where they're supposed to be. Fear is the compass that points toward growth. If something scares you, it's usually because it matters. The more resistance you feel, the more important that step probably is for your evolution. You're not afraid because you're weak. You're afraid because you're expanding. Your comfort zone is being stretched, and that's a good thing. Fear is proof that you're pushing into unfamiliar territory, and that's where transformation happens. The reason most people never tap into their potential isn't because they're not capable, it's because they've built their lives around avoiding fear. They choose safety over risk, stability over growth, comfort over challenge. They want change, but they also want to stay the same. And you can't have both. You can't evolve and hold on to comfort at the same time. Growth requires surrender. It requires you to let go of control and walk into the unknown with faith that you'll figure it out along the way. Leila Hormozi often talks about the power of doing what scares you, not recklessly, but intentionally. Because when you do something that terrifies you and you survive it, your brain changes. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign and start seeing it as feedback. You start realizing that the worst case scenario rarely happens, and even if it does, you can handle it. That's how real confidence is built, not by avoiding fear, but by walking through it again and again until it loses power over you. Fear is never going away. It will always be there, whispering reasons why you shouldn't take that leap, why you're not ready, why it's too risky. But courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move forward despite it. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you expand your potential. You become stronger, wiser, and more capable. You start to trust yourself on a deeper level because you've proven that you can act even when it's uncomfortable. You'll never discover your highest potential while playing it safe. The version of you that's capable of greatness doesn't exist inside your comfort zone. That version is forged in fear, failure, and uncertainty. It's built every time you take a step forward when you want to step back. You don't grow by avoiding fear. You grow by mastering it. The moment you stop running from fear and start walking through it, you'll find that everything you've ever wanted was waiting for you just beyond it. Comfort is killing your potential, and the truth is, you already know it. Deep down, you feel that pull, the tension between who you are and who you could be. But as long as you keep choosing comfort over challenge, you'll never close that gap. Growth doesn't happen in the easy spaces. It happens when you step into discomfort and stay there long enough to transform. Every ounce of progress, every level of success, every version of your best self lives on the other side of the hard things you've been avoiding. The world doesn't reward those who play it safe. It rewards those who show up when it's inconvenient, who act without waiting for motivation, who keep going when no one's watching. That's where greatness is born. In repetition, in discipline, in discomfort. You can spend your life protecting your comfort, or you can use that energy to pursue your potential. But you can't do both. The choice will always be yours. You can stay where it's warm, predictable, and familiar, or you can walk straight into the fire and let it forge you into someone unrecognizable to your past self. The pain will pass, but the pride of becoming who you were meant to be will last forever. So stop negotiating with your potential. Stop waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect feeling. It's not coming. Growth demands courage, discomfort, and relentless consistency. If you can master those, you can build a life that feels as good as it looks, a life driven by purpose, not comfort. Because at the end of the day, comfort may keep you safe, but only courage will set you free.